You'd have to.
You'd either have to be like really funny and hope that they appreciate your high stakes stand up, or you know, hey, you better really knock them dead out there, break a leg, you know, make them laugh, or you're gonna get raped.
What if you just walk out
or
there?
Or you have to act totally crazy, like just randomly as soon as you walk in, just like sit in the corner and don't move. Like you have to really commit to this. Just like sit in the corner and just look at it for like 5 hours, randomly laughing, just bursting out, like that. That might be a good approach, because then they might, or you loudly announce your HIV, loudly, you know, or Hep C. You know, God, this Hep C is really really bad.
When do we get our HIV medicine?
I'm starting to feel
one of those.
faint.
The guy looks at you like, he's retarded and he's got AIDS. Let's not fuck with that guy. Like worst thing we could do is hit him and
a retarded woman came in.
Yeah, yeah.
A retarded woman comes in.
How'd you get AIDS? Last time I was in here.
A woman comes in and she's
got nothing to lose.
That's a good Sling Blade impression.
Yeah, they do it constantly.
I like mustard on my biscuits. Mm-hmm.
Close enough.
This is the fucking Sling Blade. I wish I could deliver an electric shock every time you guys did your goddamn Sling Blade impression.
You really hate it.
Oh, it's the worst, and the movie's not even that good.
The movie's great. That's
Jeremy,
not true.
Please help me out here.
Oh God, we have.
How do I help you?
Is Sling Blade a great movie or just a normal average movie? I didn't say not any good. I said not that good.
Yeah, I'm sort of on your side there, Woody. I mean, I think it was great, but overly praised. It's
well, hang on, rewind.
Overrated.
Was it great or was it overly praised?
I'm widely regarded for my movie critiques and TV show critiques around here. I'm top dog.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm willing to believe that, and especially because I agree with you in this point, and consider myself a top dog movie TV reviewer. It's fantastic. It's a vehicle for Billy Bob Thornton, and that's really all it is. I don't think it's memorable.
John Ritter's performance was very strong?
No, in fact, I almost named John Ritter as well. I thought he was fantastic, but it's an acting piece. The performances hold up better than the overall film does.
I think that's because you're not from the South. There's so many. So they really hit the nail on the head with a lot of the like
for like 20 years.
What does it mean when the guy types "bump" 100 times over here in the chat? What the fuck is going on with that?
That's so that if we accidentally share this screen with our viewers at any point, that anything that's written in that chat won't be shared with them.
It becomes private.
Yeah, sometimes we put personal information there, credit card information, addresses, etc.
He's just trying to move the chat up further.
Well, I'm a real big fan of.
There was nothing even particularly private. I'm sorry to cut you off, Kyle. I just do it a lot.
I think that Billy Bob Thornton did a better job than Tom Hanks did at playing a mentally handicapped man. I love Forrest Gump. I think it's one of the best movies ever. But it's well, I don't know if it's one of the best.
I love Forrest Gump, and I don't think it's one of the best movies ever.
It's not. I immediately took that back. Yeah,
Forrest Gump is overrated. Absolutely.
I really enjoy that movie, and sometimes over time I forget how much I liked it, and I'll catch it again and be like, you know what? It's got a vibe to it, a hope of.
I think you can enjoy the hell out of that movie without giving it more credence than it deserves. I mean, Jesus, it's a good movie. It's not like The Godfather.
No, it's not like The Godfather, but it's very. Hey, that's a good question. Did you see the thing HBO made? I think HBO did, where they combined The Godfather into one. Like
I was watching that today.
That's really good. Or at least I thought it was.
I mean, I'd rather watch it chronologically, and I'm not always that way. For instance, with Deadpool, I've really appreciated the way they shot and showed you the flashbacks out of order. I thought that really supported the current story they were trying to tell. I think flashbacks can be crucial, but man, I got such a kick out of The Godfather in chronological edit. I don't know if I can ever watch it any other way.
I keep reading people say. People have said, "Oh, but it ruins it ruins this about the film. It ruins that about the film." And I'm like, no, it makes this film very easy to get your head wrapped around what's going and where the story's going. And then now that you're not thinking all the time and trying to do math equations to figure out who's who and why people are doing what they're doing, you're like, you can appreciate the performances. You can appreciate the way those scenes are set up, the camera work. There's so many cool. I've watched a documentary, I think, or at least some YouTube videos about The Godfather. I'm a big fan. I like it a lot.
Well, I mean, I think the first two movies are great, but I would rather watch them chronologically than the way they were originally released.
Agreed.
Because I feel like it gives me better understanding of what's going on, better character understanding of why they're doing what they're doing. Like all the De Niro shit, I think plays way better chronologically than it does in flashbacks. So I think it's genius. I love it.
So is this like one long, like 10-hour movie or something with all three movies in there?
8 hours long.
Oh, is it 8?
So are they editing stuff out of the movie too to make it?
No,
like,
they just
is it just reorganizing it?
Yeah, it's reorganizing the three movies into chronological flow. That's literally all it is.
I'll have to check that out because that is annoying with The Godfather. Because you spend so much time trying to figure out what the fuck each mumbling Italian is saying that you don't actually follow it. You know?
Like, I care so much more about the old Godfather in the first movie now that I have the understanding of the young Godfather from the second movie. The first time I saw the Godfather, I was like, okay, he's the boss, whatever. But after having seen the second movie, the first movie makes much more sense. And so chronologically, I think it's a total no-brainer. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, definitely agree. Yeah, I really like that. I saw that come on HBO, and I think I heard Howard Stern talking about it, and I went home and watched it immediately. Well, you don't watch that immediately. I started watching that.
How long is
spread it out over
like 4 hours?
About
like
half a Civ game.
Half a Civ game?
It's literally
it's a full Civ game long. It's a full Civ game long. You need to break it up into like 4 viewings unless you've got tons of free time. But I thought it was very good, and it's an improvement over what was there before, I thought, or at least a really good thing to watch. Like if you've already seen the films in the way Coppola intended. Then this is nice to see it this way now, because I know the story, I know the characters, but now to see it this way, it just felt new and fresh and nice. I liked it.
Yep, agreed.
Two AMA questions. If you guys don't know, there's a Patreon level that lets you ask us questions, and we try to answer them on the show. We pick off the best of them. Let's do this one. Which movie has had the biggest impact in your life, and what movie has had the biggest impact of all time?
That's...
I'll go first, because I read it 10 minutes ago, and I have a head start on you guys. There's no adultery in my relationship. I just want to preface that. But what was that Robert Redford movie with Demi Moore?
Indecent Proposal?
Indecent Proposal. God damn. So, if you guys don't know the movie, it's old. It's like from the 90s or something. Woody Harrelson and Demi Moore's character have this perfect relationship. They love each other. Everything is great. They share common dreams of building a house on this wonderful lot, etc. And they go out gambling. Robert Redford's character, who plays a very, very wealthy guy, offers $1 million if he can sleep with Demi Moore. They say yes. And then the bulk of the movie is about that scar that it left. About how Woody Harrelson couldn't quite deal with it, about how she kind of wanted to be forgiven because it was a joint decision, but he held her responsible. I remember at one point he asked her if she liked it, and she didn't want to answer, and eventually she's like, yeah, it was great sex, and that crushed him even further. And at the very end, I'll ruin it, the characters get back together and you see him holding hands, but you know that there's still that scar in that relationship. And for me, I think it molded... like one of the fidelity aspects of me, like like that. I don't want that. I don't want that damaged relationship that they have.
Never seen that movie. Sounds depressing.
A little bit. Wow, that's really hard. The movie that's shaped.
That is hard because I don't feel like there are that many movies
that shape you,
that have shaped my life. Like as far as getting me into something, like it'd be Lord of the Rings because I got super into Lord of the Rings from that. I still love Lord of the Rings, but if it's like the most emotional I've ever felt over a movie, it's probably The Green Mile. But that doesn't make me think like, man, that'll teach me to go to prison as a minority in the 30s. Like that doesn't make sense. Like I don't know what movie it would be.
Was he's an angel, right? Like my thought process was always that John was an angel in that film.
John? In The Green Mile?
Wasn't the black guy's name? No, it
John
was. Coffey?
Yeah, John Coffey. Yeah. I didn't ever think he was an angel.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh. Well, maybe I'm wrong.
Just something about him like healing the people and then like vomiting some sort of demonic evil out of his mouth every time. Like
I always thought he was some kind of like almost like a prophet-ish guy where it's like God gave him some special powers, or whatever the power is in that movie, imbued him with this, and by virtue of him being who he was in the time period he was, all the good potential that he could have offered people squandered because, people didn't trust him and they thought he was evil. So.
Yeah, I thought he was an angel just because he was a little off, right?
Yeah.
I think people took it as him being slow-witted when in reality it was just extreme innocence. That's what it felt like to me. It was like
it was
a being not of this. Yeah, it was like a being not. It was like exactly what I would expect an angel to be like. Not like in the Bible. They wouldn't like have any children eaten or strike anyone dead. Hey, maybe that would
if
be
he were
good.
a Bible angel, he would have. As soon as Percy stepped on that rat, Percy would have turned to salt or something like that.
I didn't like that at all. That moment right there is real big.
That upset me.
So look, I'm having a hard time with this. Well, movies that shaped my life, was that it?
Yeah, the most. I guess I'd go Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Man, I really like The Matrix because I liked The Matrix so much. Like I didn't. It wasn't like something from that subreddit, the Blunder years. Like I didn't get a trench coat and like pose for any photos or anything lame like that. But it did get me into that genre of movies more. I don't know. I'm really struggling with this. There's lots of movies that I love, but I don't know that any of them have ever shaped my life. I guess maybe Schwarzenegger. Let's just call Schwarzenegger's career as something that shaped my life a little bit like that, because, the whole idea, the way that he does his thing, there's a little bit of that in what I do, because like what he's doing is he's going out there and when he's shooting a machine gun, like in Commando, when he's mowing down an entire drug kingpin's army, right? Like that's what everybody loves looking at him shoot that machine gun because it looks cool. He's shooting with one hand, just like Rambo did the same thing. Back in the day. It looks easy.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I remember as a Boy Scout sitting there with all my other like 11-year-old Boy Scout friends, and this is the conversation we all agreed. War is really easy. I don't see the big deal. You just you kill like 30, 40, 50 people at one time, Like what's even hard
just
about
don't let
war?
go of the trigger.
Yeah, just
it's the mentality that you have when you first go into a paintball match. If you remember,
Why don't you just shoot 'em all?
I don't know how young you guys were when you first played paintball, but I was probably
40?
9 when I first played. And when you go in at that age, you are picturing yourself as like the grand poobah of all warfare. Just like, a quick lean out, 2 shots, 2 kills. Everyone on the other team is, oh my God, who is this phantom, this demon's whisper behind me? They're turning around quickly, scared at your presence. But then you get out there and you pop out and like that, you're like, oh shit, those are other people just like me. Oh, okay. This is different than what I anticipated. Like
There are no men like me.
It's interesting how it takes to put into that to realize it, because you have such a big thought of yourself as like just intrinsically being able to do it better.
By the way, that's the best Jamie Lannister quote ever, right? Like, I can't remember what they said to him. They were just like, I've known men like you, and he's like, there are no men like me. It's like, fuck yeah, that's the best line ever. Like, and she's just like, fair enough, all right,
I want to. I'm taking this off topic, but Jamie Lannister is this great swordsman back when he had his hand. I wonder how he ranks against the other great swordsmen. Could he beat the sellsword? How about that guy with the 2 swords from last episode? Brienne, the Hound. How would he do these things? Even Ned. Like, I
have a pretty good ranking in my head, but
so
I guess we're done with the movie thing. I guess so, because I'm just saying Schwarzenegger. I don't know. I
liked it. It was a good answer though.
I took something from just watching the way that he operates a gun in the movie. Mm-hmm. It's fun to watch him do it. And so I tried to emulate that in some ways. The same reasons that I want to watch Schwarzenegger shoot a gun, I try to do those things when I'm shooting a gun, because you want to see the guy shooting a gun having fun. I hate when and I'm not shitting on anybody, but sometimes a guy's gun video will be nothing but him being super focused and intense and just fucking, it's all about hitting the bullseye. And it's like, look, we can all hit the bullseye. Like the kid at home watching, he sat in his backyard with a 22 and hit the bullseye before. Let's have some fun. Let's loosen up a little bit. Like, it's a machine gun. Yeah, I know it's not a toy per se, but we're gonna play with it just the same in a safe way. So let's enjoy it while we do.
I agree completely. They're educational gun videos, and I like those. But it's really the fun ones that I enjoy the most. The ones where they get all tactical and just
We were talking about this the other day. I don't even want to.
I don't want to give details because then
I don't
I'd
want
be
to give the
picking
details.
on
But
specific
this
people.
one guy did. I was talking to another gun channel the other day. I'll just leave it at that. I was talking to Chad the other day, and he was talking about somebody who had made a video, and it was just so embarrassing. It was this guy.
Okay.
And he had just done something real silly in his video. This is bad show topic because I can't talk about what I'm talking about. So like maybe later.
Honestly, all that you would be doing is like what M. Night Shyamalan did, where he came out with a couple things, everybody loved him, and then he just drilled it into the ground.
His new movie has good reviews.
Does it?
Well, my whole point's fucking ruined.
Not
What's
good reviews. It has okay reviews, and they're better than they've been in a long time.
So
it's called The Visit, I think.
Oh my god.
Does it have a twist by chance?
The Visit, I think. Thank you, Chiz. I was right. But yeah, Shyamalan really. So they were, he was on the cover of Time, I think. Next Spielberg ?
I remember that. Yeah.
Time magazine should just they forever lost credibility after some shit like that, right? That was embarrassing. So Sixth Sense is excellent. Unbreakable is very good. After that, I have a hard time getting on board with anything.
Signs I liked.
Oh yeah, thank you. Signs. I feel like Signs is good. I don't know what doesn't make it very good. I guess maybe the plot holes.
Your opinion is
the plot holes are bad, but it's also the fact that like I feel like you have a distorted perception of Signs because it's like Sixth Sense. It's objectively a good movie. I think is not a stretch to say. Most people like that movie. It's good. Like that twist at the end, you're like, you can see it coming, but it's still there.
I didn't. Yeah.
Signs only looks good when you compare it against like Lady in the Water and all that nonsense he made in later years. And you can look back and be like, he was good in the Sixth Sense Signs days. But if you go back and watch Signs again, you will be very disappointed. It's not a good movie.
I'll have to do that because I remember Signs highly. And as I watched everything come together, like the glasses, the baseball, the failed baseball, like everything comes together. And I'm like, this guy has been laying out clues for me for the last hour and a half. And now, like the notion is like everything happens for a reason. And everything seemed to suck until that day in which all these things came together to be very important.
Yeah. It's the water thing, though. Like, that's all that it takes to make the movie stupid. Like, and you're right, he does lay out clues, but when it gets to the end and the crux of the matter is, spoiler alert, the aliens, they never foresaw that the most abundant, compound on our planet is actually death to them. Like, it makes so little sense that it doesn't make sense why they couldn't, just manufacture some other reason.
Or wear some clothes when they came. How about a rain jacket before you invade Earth? That would have solved the whole problem. You put a rain slicker on that alien and give him a stick, and he is infinitely more lethal. The aliens were bad. Shyamalan was great with everything he did. I love the religious stuff. I love that, this never lose your faith kind of thing with Gibson. Joaquin Phoenix was amazing. Both of those child actors, one of them is Macaulay Culkin's brother, by the way. Excellent. Lots of great acting in that movie. But man, there's something about just do the aliens different, or like make them. They just needed to be better and different. And I think that he just wasn't good at that. They seemed almost like an afterthought. I feel like they were making this great movie and they just kept making it. And at the end they were like, well, yeah, we'll have some CGI aliens at the end. They're gonna be super scary, and it just never came together. I had no problem with how the aliens looked. I thought that when Joaquin Phoenix is watching the news. And he's watching like Telemundo or something. He's watching some Mexican broadcasting channel.
Telemundo.
Yeah, and you can see the alien kind of in the back. And he's like, "Vámonos, children, vámonos!" Like he's trying to see what's going on. And that alien kind of like it's like walking, and they freeze frame. Is just like doing one of those. I was like, "Shit, those are what's coming. Fuck, that's bad." Like. They're scary aliens, and I already have that phobia of like gray men, the classic aliens that are like big heads, gray skinned, and with the big eyes from watching all those movies when I was a kid. So that was scary for me. But they're allergic to water so much so that it's like there is nothing you can pour on a human being that'll burn them like that you would just keep in a room. Like I don't know if you've ever. I got battery acid on me the other day. It didn't burn. I washed it. I was like, oh, look at this. I got battery acid all over me. I'm going to walk nonchalantly to the sink and shh, now it's gone. That's how battery acid is. You got to wait for, 10 or 15 or 20 seconds before it starts hurting or starts really doing anything. These things got a little water on them, and they're just it was like they were made out of baking soda, and someone was throwing vinegar at them or something. It was, they're reacting to it, and it's like, wasn't there enough water vapor in the air? Like, if I put a cold drink right here, it's going to be sweating in a minute. If they're that allergic to water, then presumably just breathing our air is like breathing poison constantly.
Yeah.
Like
it's because there's like a suspension of disbelief that you give movies, but if it's too ridiculous that even a layman can look at, like, when you watch a movie about hacking, you can kind of distance yourself and be like, when the lady's like, we got to find a way into the mainframe past the O code. Oh, do you have the coordinates? Yeah, I'm locking in now. You're like, okay, that's not how fucking tech support works, but whatever. But with this, like, you see water, and it's so glaringly obvious right in your face that you can't ignore it. You can't. Yeah. You can't ignore it and still have a good time. I
think anyone who's knowledgeable about a subject or a topic, when they see it portrayed in the movies incorrectly, it can do that. Guns are a big thing like that for me. When I see a movie that handles guns very well, like John Wick, I'm really down. There was only maybe 1 or 2 scenes in John Wick that I thought were a little meh. I didn't feel like he had enough recoil in his shotgun when he shot it. Other than that, it's perfect. He's reloading when he's supposed to. Go ahead.
Annoying, like, as far as those experts go, Neil deGrasse Tyson tweeting about, like, nonsense, like, actually in Gravity, you would have seen Venus in a different point in the sky. And what it all comes out of is we're all star stuff. And it's like we get it. You're real bright. Like, come on.